Yeah, I discovered in the journey of bringing up Tia in the last 6 years that the most important information that you find comes from other parents. So going to the playgroups was where I found out things. Nobody tells you along the way. The paediatrician, which I would have thought would have had all the answers, they know nothing. They just go off your lead. So I worked out very quickly that I, as her mother, have to be her, her secretary. I have to work it all out, exactly what she needs, and I have to tell them what she needs. So where do I find this information? I found it through the other parents in the playgroups and stuff. Now moving into school though is a little different because I don't have all of that anymore. I don't have those playgroups, those families that I'm connecting with. We're in a whole nother sector of our life now. So I actually found myself searching the internet for family stories, and I did come across a site, I think it was just one on the New South Wales government, and I just watched every single story, and it was all parents talking about their different experiences.
So whenever we came to know about the condition and the diagnosis for our daughter, initially we were taken aback. Nobody expects that, but then what I started to do I started to read about it, and I did a lot of reading online and maybe read a few books as well, and I bought some digital books from Amazon.com, and I started reading about the condition and how to manage this condition basically. And then I started watching YouTube videos as well, and there are a lot of videos that you can download or stream and watch, and basically learning from those videos. So there are parents sharing their stories. You can always learn from that, and in fact I learned a lot from that. I've been reading some stories online where primarily mothers, have been talking about how they helped their children get to a stage where it was easy to manage the conditions they had. And I found in my readings, that most of the times it was mothers who were writing about their children. So I used to wonder, why not fathers? And I'm sure there are fathers there, but I did not come across any readings from the fathers. So I'm hoping that there are fathers who are listening, or they are out there who are writing about it and then are willing to share their stories.
So I found all these stories of these parents telling me how they had got through things, and it gave me new ideas and new things to research so that I could try and find all these things for my daughter. So yeah, I found the parent stories were amazing for me. Yeah.
So we did a variety of things with Plumtree, and one of the highlights was the Christmas party and Santa and the presents and the children from not just the groups Henry had attended, but all of the children. There was a fire truck outside, and I got to bring Sam, Henry's brother, as well. So that was a really nice, it was a family day. My husband came, we all came. So that was a really nice experience for us without worrying like we might do in a different setting. With the pressure, everybody was understanding of everybody else. So that was really good. Henry also attended a little class, and Julie ran the class, and I think there was maybe 8 children every week for 10 weeks, and they sat on chairs and they watched and they did activities for, I think they started with 20 minutes, and over the course they built it up to an hour, and it was like a little practice school. And it was really nice because it was a small environment before he had to go into the big environment, which was going to be 20 to 30 children in his class. And it was ongoing, so it was every week. He knew what was happening. He started to know the children. He started to know what was expected of him, sitting on the chair, listening to the songs, doing his work. And that was a really nice time. I also got to bring Sam to that, And Neve was only a couple of weeks old in her buggy, and she'd sit on the side, but Sam would have been maybe 2.5 or 3, so he'd get to sit in the little class as well and contribute and put his hand up and answer questions. And yeah, so that was a really great experience for Henry. Again, for getting ready to school and transitioning, but also in that partnership being part of a little team that was also getting ready to go to school of other children. And for me to kind of sit on the side and just have that little bit of interaction with parents who also were worried about this, and get to share that, which sharing is having that problem sometimes.
Be open-minded, because it really, particularly Plumtree, have taken a really broad approach to what individualised funding can cover. So it's designed to be used to support transition, inclusion and partnerships, and you'd be surprised how many things you can fit in under those categories if you really read into it. But yeah, consult with other families, come along if you can to support groups, which I found invaluable when my son was first diagnosed, and learn from other parents' experiences. Also take advice from the people involved in your child's support, like the therapists. They have great ideas, and then use all that information to come up with solutions that are going to work for your child and support their goals.
When we came to this organization, we met other families which were in a similar situation as we are, and we ended up being friends with them. In fact, my wife is on WhatsApp with some of the mothers that we met here, yeah, and she is in constant touch, and they are sending information back and forth, and yeah, so we have become friends basically, and this is going to be for a long time, simply because we are on the same boat, and we can help each other by interacting, communicating about the condition and everything else that's happening with that.
If I'd watched these sort of videos when my son was diagnosed and I was trying to learn about individualised funding, it would have been really beneficial to me, because you read the program guidelines, and there is another individualised program that's out through ADAC, Ageing, Disability and Home Care at the moment. And even I read it, and I've had 5 years of disability and even worked in disability a little bit, and I didn't understand it and how you could use it. It was like a project-based, and to me it just sounded like a lot of work. And if I'd had access to other parents sharing stories about what they did with the funding, it would have really helped me to understand how I could apply it to our situation. Because just reading the black and white, it just seemed too much hard work. When my son got diagnosed, I didn't like Googling and seeing pictures of adults with the syndrome, and because I'd never been really exposed to people with a disability, I felt really daunted about meeting them. And so having a resource like this would have been really beneficial to me in the beginning. It's not confronting, you're getting advice from someone who's lived it already. And it's sort of an interim measure until you do build up that confidence to go along and meet people face to face and sort of accept the fact that, oh yes, I do have a child with a disability, and we're on this journey, and we need help from other people to get through it, because you really do. I think you can be in a bubble, but it's not helpful. It is like a grieving experience, and having other people who've been through it to talk to and learn from was invaluable for me when I was ready for it.
Usually with the resources or the services, our family has come up with the ideas as to, well, what do we think we could spend the money on, given where our child is at that point in time. And then we've gone away and had a chat to the experts, the therapists, and sought further input from them to see whether or not that would be something that was appropriate. And usually, you know, they're fully supportive and just give you a few extra tips on other things you should be considering as well. But the ideas have primarily come from us as to where we think our child is at and what he'd be capable of doing.
What I believe and what I think is that I'm learning as I go. Yeah, 5 years or maybe 10 years ago, I was not like this. But good thing that learning is coming to me, even if as a result of this negative thing that happened in our life, but we are not thinking about it that way at all. We are thinking about it positively, and it's helping us learn more, get more knowledge about what it is that we need to know about ourselves as well. So I have learned a lot of things about myself.
So when you watch the stories online, you know that you're not the only one out there that's dealing with these issues, that there's so many other people